Okay, we'll resume the session. So sorry for this, inconvenience happened. So it is because of technical error, which was not in our hands, right? Okay. I hope I was doing this thing what I want from you, I guess, right? So what was the last when it was ended? Online people, what was the last topic I was discussing when this connection got out? Oh, it was in the beginning. Okay. I think even this slide was not, this slide was also not covered for you, I guess. Yeah, program objectives. Okay, okay, fine. So now we'll start with this. See, again, it will be repetition for you, but essentially this is how it happens. So now for online people, I'll be doing these two slides again for you, right? So basically, I'll be telling this, what is the phase of this class, or else like how these classes will proceed, and what are the things you can expect from the classes. Yeah, first slide only. So this is the second slide. Don't worry, right? So you have not missed anything. So what are the things you can expect from the classes? So first thing I told you is that I'll be doing this brainstorming. So brainstorming basically means like I'll be taking one idea, so I'll be like analyzing that in a holistic way. Then I will try to give you this complete meaning of that, and then I will start dictating the notes for that, right? So even though I dictate the notes, especially for this, important topics, but essentially when I am saying the things, so I will be saying like lot many examples, or it's like lot many things in the explanation way. So that's why you can have this running notes also, right? And then I will try to like simplify these concepts as much as possible. So even though it will be a complex topic, I'll be simplifying it and I'll be making it easy for you to understand. So as I told earlier, so if at all it is a complex topic, so I'll be like explaining from the scratch, from the beginning, so that it may take. So it may take little bit time. So they are looking into that. So they will be rectifying that mic error. Don't worry. Mic sound. Background. Okay. So they are looking into. Is it fine now, Bidarth? Okay. Yeah. So as I was telling, so this complex topic I will try to like simplify as much as possible. So when I am simplifying it, it may take little bit time. So people from agri background may feel like it is being stretched, but essentially people who are not from like agriculture background, sorry, you are from agriculture background, you may feel like it is a little bit stretched, but essentially it is essential for you to understand as well, right? So focus will be given for conceptual clarity. Okay. And usually in these OGP classes, I will be telling this science stories, right? So science stories in the sense like for your general understanding and also for appreciating this science as a concept. So I would be doing these things in the OGP classes. In this context of like optional classes, what I would be doing is that I'll be telling you this, agriculture success stories. Especially there are n number of achievers in this, agriculture field. Though they are not from like agriculture background, they have like excelled in the agriculture field. So I'll be taking those sort of examples. I'll be showing you few of the videos or as like few of the successful case studies, so that you can learn that. So it is not just about like theoretical aspect which we are reading in the subject, but also it is implementable in the field. And when you are doing it, it is really contributing to the economy. So those sort of like stories I'll be sharing in the classes, right? Okay. Then if I am doing all those things, I will also explain certain things from you. So first important thing I'll be expecting from you is active listening. So you should not just present in the class physically, your mind, and also like that mind should be functional. Functional in the sense, when I say certain things in the classes, you have to process that in your brain and try to come up with like unique solutions for it. Or else, if at all you have some doubt in, with respect to it, you can ask that doubt as well, right? So that is active listening. So second one is that, say I won't buy at the things and come to the classes. So that's why what has to be done is that if you have really any genuine doubt, so then raise your hand. Of course, in online people, you can like text me in this chat section. So I'll be addressing those queries once that concept explanation is done, right? So in between, if you are asking that and if I obstruct my flow, then obviously I will be forgetting what I was telling for you, right? So that's why don't obstruct my flow. And major important thing is that you should not be fearful of this subject, because I know that few of the engineers are also present in this optional course. So that's why I'm telling you again and again. So if at all some unknown terminology is there, give yourself little bit time. So provide that what is that mind space for you to revise, and then you will be acquainted with that particular terminologies. So don't fear this topic. And another important aspect, that is, if you are not knowing something and if you have learned that today, then rather than having sadness for not knowing the topic, you should be enjoying that at least you got to know about this topic. So have that enjoyment when you are learning new things in your life. So rather than feeling sorry for yourself that you haven't studied these things, so feel enjoyable in the classes. Clear? Okay. So those were the things which we had discussed in like that brief period. So now we'll be looking into this session objectives. So originally what I intended to do in the class, today's session is that, so first thing is, like especially these are like most common terminologies. For example, ecology, environment, ecosystem, and then habitat. And also there is another term you would have heard about, it is called as niche, N-I-C-H-E, right? So like though it appears to be very similar words, there is a difference. So what is that difference and how that is important for you in the context of agriculture, right? So that will be one of the important discussion. So next one is principles of ecology, right? So here, for example, if you like depending on the source which you are going to refer, so you may find like different types of principles, but essentially I have taken these principles from agriculture point of view. Are you getting? So principles of ecology, that I will be discussing. Next one is ecological productivity. So what is the concept of this productivity, right? So that also we are going to discuss. So next one is relevance to man. So if you like observe the syllabus of this ecology portion, first heading itself is ecology and relevance to man. So within that ecology, these are the subparts I have taken. Clear? So then relevance to man. Clear? Next one is we'll be taking this agroecology, right? Agroecology and ecological agriculture, right? So within this, we'll be looking at definition, what are the principles of agroecology and what are the principles of like ecological agriculture, and then what are the practices we are doing under it, and then declining this thing, productivity in this agroecosystems. So that is a major trend which is happening because of intensive agriculture or else industrialized agriculture, right? So that is one of the reason, and ways to increase this productivity in the system. So these are the topics we'll be covering. And originally I intended to do this also, cropping pattern as indicator of environments. So depending on like how much time we are going to get, so we can discuss these topics today. Clear? So first we'll understand this marks pattern, how much it is coming from this ecology portion, correct? So if we can take here, so from 2017 till 2022 I have taken this, right? So in this 2017 it was 30, and then it was 40, 50, then 30, again it is 60, and again it is 30. So on an average like 30 marks every year it is coming from this. So what is the total marks of like optional paper, each paper? Total marks 400, right? So out of 400, 30 to 50 marks it is coming from this one subject. And usually what they are doing is that if you take this question, compulsory questions, so question 1 and 5 is compulsory, that totally 8 questions would be there. You have to answer how many questions? 5 questions you have to answer that. In that, question number 1 and question number 5 is compulsory. And usually this ecology portion, at least 1 or 2 questions, it will appear in this compulsory questions. And usually what they will do is that it appears to be easy, but either you'll have like excess content for the topic, condensing and then writing the answer for 10 markers, it would be tough. or else we'll have like 4 to 5 points. You have to stretch that for 10 markers. So that would be the challenge, especially in this ecology portion. So how to tackle those things, I'll explain here. Clear? The mark strain, right? And this is the syllabus. So ecology and its relevance to the man. See, in a way, I can say that ecology and its relevance to the man, and also this thing, agroecology, cropping pattern as indicator of environment. So these two are like core concepts of this ecology, right? After that, the applied part of this ecology. See, for example, when we discuss this, why we had to read this ecology or else relevance of this ecology to the mankind. So then one of the important aspect is natural resource conservation, correct? Because if you understand this principles of ecology, basically it says that the nutrient cycle or the cyclicity of this nutrients or else of this water, it has to be promoted. If at all that is not done, obviously water is a natural resource, then there is over exploitation or else under exploitation. So for better optimum utilization of this natural resources, we should be understanding the idea of ecology. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that, so if you understand these two fundamental concepts, so it is very important here. So then the rest of the concepts, especially up to here, it is just application of the same principles. Are you getting? So today also, see, for example, when I am going to discuss this ecology, I will explain you these principles of ecology. And in a way, it is similar to this, agroecology principles. So applying that, we can derive this principles also. How we can do that, I will show to you, right? So essentially, these two are core principles. After that, the applied part is this. And another applied part for this cropping pattern is this physical and social environment. So physical environment basically means climate, correct? Soil factors, right? And then let's say natural resource availability, human factors, correct? And then this social factors, basically it is management aspect. That is, let's say for example, how we are going to do this agriculture activity, first thing. Second thing is that policy initiatives, technology initiatives, and then food or as diet pattern of the people. All those things comes under this social factors, right? So this is again one of the easiest topic, but essentially I'm telling you again and again. So for these 4 topics, the first 4, the core principle is first and fourth topic. So if you understand this, then rest of the syllabus is easy. And after that, we have this environmental pollution and associated hazards to crops, animals, and humans. So same exact line has been asked in the examination, correct? So now here what we have to discuss is that we know like different types of pollution is there. What are those? What are the different types of pollution? Air, water, soil, that's it. Sound pollution, correct? That is noise pollution, correct? So those are the types under which like first we have to understand why it is happening, sources, then how we are going to manage it, plus what is the hazard it is going to pose for humans and crops, correct? Next one is climate change, and this is very important topic. See, under this climate change, though they are not mentioned, let's say for example, this ozone depleting substances, ozone depletion, though it is not mentioned anywhere in the syllabus, but that question has appeared. So in other words, so this climate phenomenon or as climate associated risk, all those things are going to be important in the syllabus. So we are going to cover that in a holistic way, correct? So climate change, first we have to understand what is it, why it is happening, right? So after that, international and global conventions. So this is very important. So here the content is not the problem. So presentation. So in presentation, like in IRI also I have explained. So here also I am going to explain when I am discussing this topic, clear? And also like what I would be doing in the classes is that, see for example, if you take this, ecology and its relevance to the man, that is the part of the syllabus. But if you have been through this PYQs, in 2021, there was this question. So define ecology and mention its basic principles and then explain its relevance to crops was the question, not to the humans. It was for crops, correct? So now what I will be doing is that, first I will be explaining this relevance to the man, right? Once that concept is done, then I am going to give you that question for relevance to the crops. In other words, what I am trying to say is that, see, whatever the things I will be not covering in the classes, that also I will be seeing in the classes, and I will be giving that in the form of questions, right? If time permits, we can, like, I will give the time in the class itself. We can write the answer in the class. We can discuss the answer if time permits. If not, I will be giving that as homework. So once that is done, in the next class we will be discussing about that particular question. In a way, we will be covering everything, but I want you to put little bit effort. Are you getting? Yes? Okay. Next one is this greenhouse effect and global warming. So n number of times this question has appeared. So last one is this remote sensing and GIS. So though it is under this ecology portion, or else you can also think of this portion under this agronomy also, or else under forestry also. So questions will be like this. Explain the role of remote sensing and GIS in forest conservation. Explain the role of remote sensing and RS in crop insurance? Are you getting? Or else, what is the role of this remote sensing and GIS in upbringing this agriculture system? Correct? In a holistic way also they can ask the questions. We'll be discussing all those dimensions in this part. Up to here it is clear, right? And in fact, like most number of questions, it is coming from this climate change international conventions, and the basic one question it will be coming from this ecology and relevance to the man. So basically when I say like 30 questions, or sorry, 30 marks is what it is usually coming. So pattern would be like this: 10 markers at least one question, then either they will ask like 15 marks once or else 20 marks one. So usually that 30 marks, that is how they are going to ask. So when it is about like 15 marks or 20 marks, either remote sensing or else like climate change. So this 6, 7, 8. So this is what they will be asking. If at all it is for the 10, so first 5 questions usually it will be focused. So I am saying in general, but again the exception as I told you is 2021, because the question which I set for you, that is ecology principles plus relevance to the crops, that was asked for 20 marks. Clear? There are exceptions, but essentially if you understand the concept, then it would be easy. Up to here it is clear, everyone? Right. Now we'll look into that basically 3 important terms. 3 important terms. Okay. So first one is, let's say, environment. Okay, what is environment? What is environment? What is environment? Say, I need not have like perfect textbook definition. Just tell me what you have understood about environment. What is environment? Never heard that term. Okay, the surrounding environment, or else the surroundings which we are encompassed by. Okay, very good. Next. Anything else? That's it. Good. So basically biotic and abiotic components would be there in the environment. Good. Then, and now don't worry about like, sorry, in ecosystem also we are going to say the same thing. Don't worry, you just say what is environment, then I'll clarify you what is the differences, right? So basically abiotic and biotic components is there, and she said that the surroundings, correct? So essentially combine all those things together, then we have this environment. So environment is a holistic term. Are you getting? So if you take this, different terminologies, this is at the maximum level, right? So environment is a holistic term which is taking sum of all the external factors and their interactions with the surroundings, and what is that outcome it is coming. So that we can call it as environment, right? So if we can see here, sum total of all the external factors plus the conditions and factors that influences both biotic and abiotic livings. Are you getting? So this is what the environment meaning is, correct? Can you give an example for environment? Example of environment. What is it? We say this, class environment will be provided, discussion environment will be provided. What is the meaning of that? What is the meaning of it? See, you are making it complex, you are overthinking. If I am asking, you are thinking that it should be difficult, or it should be, there should be some catch. Essentially it is easy only. What is the example? Environment. See, for example, there is another word, climate, correct? And again we say that microclimate, correct? See here, environment, what is the example you can give is that, see, if you take entire earth, it itself is an environment, correct? If you take like India within this Himalaya, then that is a particular environment. Are you getting? And again it is a subjective term. It could be small as, a small environment could be there, or else a big, entire globe could be considered as one environment. Are you getting? Right? Next one is, what are the scope? And else what are the main things we'll be discussing under this environment? Correct. So first main is that it encompasses everything. That is the same. When I say living, non-living, that is like climate, or else let's say weather, or else let's say soil, everything. So every external factor plus the living components, everything will be taken into consideration. So that's why it is a holistic term. Are you getting? So environment is a holistic term which encompasses all these things. Clear? Next one is emphasis. What is the major emphasis of this environment? Or else when I say this thing, environment, what is the major focus I am giving for? So it is for this ecological interactions. Are you getting? So ecological interactions plus range of factors. In other words, when I say ecological interactions, I can give you one example, Okay, let's take this, allelopathy. So in allelopathy, what is happening? What is allelopathy? Basically, a plant will be there. It will release certain chemicals from roots or else other parts. Then it will be inhibiting the growth and development of another. Correct? So that is also one type of this thing interaction. Correct? Now let's say for example this legumes, we call it as symbiotic association, correct? Yes, root knot nodules, correct? So what is that example? There also interaction is happening, but in a favorable way. Considering all those ecological interactions plus so range of factors. For example, for that to happen, let's say for this legume N fixation to happen, there should be good amount of soil microbes, or soil health should be good, then only the microbes will be good. So considering all those things and discussing those things in a holistic way, then we are going to discuss about this environment. Up to here it is clear, everyone? Next one we discuss is this thing, ecology, right? Okay, ecology. So what is the meaning of ecology? Interactions. Good, good, very good. See, exactly that is the definition here. See, in ecology, it is the scientific discipline which studies this interactions between this living organisms with its surroundings. Are you getting? Then what is the difference between this environment and this? See, in environment, what is happening is that we are taking this holistic way. Are you getting? Main focus is not about interactions. Here the main focus in the environment is balance. So how it is, everything is happening. So in a holistic way, you will be looking for. But in ecology, it is mainly towards this commercial scale, right? So basically, if at all two things is there, what is the interaction it is happening between them? Are you getting? So that is the focus of this ecology, correct? So specific interactions with each other and with respect to environment, both will be considered. Are you getting? See, for example, let's say this thing, ragi. So ragi is grown. So ragi field is there. So between these ragi plants also there are interactions, correct? Basically, they will be competing for natural resources, correct? Could be nutrients, could be soil, water, anything, correct? But at the same time, so this ragi as a holistic way, it will be competing with the natural environment also, like let's say for example droughts, let's say for example other abiotic factors. Considering all those things, we are going to call it as ecology. That's why that field is called as crop ecology. Are you getting? So ecology is a natural term when it is manipulated by the humans for their betterment of food and fodder. Then we can call it as crop ecology. Are you getting? Right? So scope here, as I said, it is mainly for this interactions and dynamics. So this is the important word here, because see, nothing in this chemical agriculture or else industrial agriculture, without the knowledge about these interactions, we cannot practice this industrial agriculture. Yes or no? Because everything is surrounding under around it only, correct? So that's why this ecology is important for agriculture point of view. Clear? So that is what interactions and dynamics of these organisms and the communities which is present there and the ecosystem. Okay, when I say this ecology, let's say for example, this basic unit of ecology, that is individual. That is individual organism. That is the basic unit of this ecology. If you take this hierarchy in this environment, we can say that is the lowest level could be this ecosystem. Are you getting? So within that ecosystem, again there are subparts. But essentially, if I take this ecology as a concept, then the basic unit would be individual, or else individual species, or else individual organism is the basic unit. Remember all these things, because when you are going to write the answer for that particular question, I told you all these concepts would be coming in handy for you. Clear? Up to here it is clear. So emphasis here, the major concept which we have to understand in ecology is flow of energy, right? Okay, is like environment done for you? No. So for which batch is it is done? No batch. Okay, batch 5. Batch 8 it is done. Okay. See, basically, something called as this trophic levels. Okay, let's forget that also. Producers, consumers, autotrophs, you would have heard. So autotrophs means producers only, correct? So basically how they are preparing the food? Photosynthesis. Sunlight is there, that is the primary source. That will be converted into the chemical energy, correct? So solar energy is converted into chemical energy, that is starch or else glucose, anything, correct? Now, so once this is produced, so another organism is coming and feeding on this. Yes, herbivores. On this herbivores there is carnivores, correct? Now this is the chain which is going on. But essentially what is happening is that if you take this autotrophs, now let's say for example 100 kgs, or else let's say for example sunlight, totally 100 unit of sunlight is produced. Now in that 100 unit, if at all this plant, it is taking like 50 units to produce this photosynthesis, correct? Now 50 units is what the total energy which is present in this. Are you getting? Up to here, are you following now? Now, if at all it is producing 50, already some portion is lost here, from sun to here, correct? From this plant, when this herbivore is feeding on this plant, again some sort of energy is lost, and only some part of energy will be transferred. And this cycle it will continue from one trophic to another trophic level. Trophic is basically like producers, consumers, and then this thing, what is that? Herbivores or else omnivores, those concepts. Are you getting? Up to here it is clear? Now, see, and again, like when I'm discussing this, what is that? Productivity. I'll go in detail about this flow of energy, don't worry. But up to here it is clear for you? Yes? Right. So, and cyclicity of the nutrients, emphasis on the energy and cyclicity of the nutrients, that is the important part of ecology, right? Okay, second one is habitat and niche. So, okay, have you heard this habitat? So, what is habitat? Place, okay then. Okay, so when we had this, when I texted you guys in this telegram, I told that class will be in this OGP 5, and I gave you this address. Are you getting? So habitat in a way I can say as address. Clear? So that is to say a place where a group of organisms will be living together. Correct? So that is habitat. So and another important aspect you should be remembering about habitat is that in this habitat it is not just about one species. So more than one number of species can present in this habitat. When I say niche, so it is niches like this. Let's say this. Okay, let's consider this elephant. Okay, so elephant moves from one place to another place. You would have heard about this elephant corridors. Yes, what is the meaning of this elephant corridors? Okay, okay. How that particular path is created? We are creating it. Are we creating it? No, pakka. Then how it has created? So these are important because these are the fundamental aspects which will give you clarity. Yes, how that is created, elephant corridors. Or else have you heard this, term called as man-animal conflict? So railway track, this animal was hit, etc., etc. Why that is happening? Or else why this animal is moving into this railway tracks? Man is encroaching these places. Correct. See, if you watch this, documentary series is there in this Netflix. Do watch it. It is called as Great Migrations, right? And these animals actually they travel like miles together, thousands of kilometers together. So essentially, when I say this elephant, what is happening is that their ancestors they have traversed one path. So they know that in this particular season, food and water availability will be good in this particular region. So for that, their ancestors would have laid a path. And these animals will be moving in that memory, genetic memory basically. So it will be moving in that particular path. But now what we have done, because of greed of development, we have encroached those areas, and these animals essentially they are going through their genetic memory only. But it is entering into our crop fields, or else it is entering into this railway tracks. That's why man-animal conflict is happening. In other words, why I took this example is that wherever this animal is moving, so it is creating a specific activity there. Correct? When it is moving, basically, this they are called as like environmental engineers. Yes, elephants are called as environmental engineers. Why? No idea. No idea. Say, have you seen this elephant dung? Elephant dung? No. Have you seen elephant? Right. So this elephant dung, essentially, elephant is a herbivore or else like omnivore. Pakka. Pakka. Yes, it is herbivore. So when it is feeding on this different plants, what is happening? It is going to consume the seeds also. So seeds will not be digested properly in the stomach of elephant. So when it is moving, it is laying this dung throughout the road. In other words, this spread of seeds is also happening. So that's why it is called as environmental engineers. Are you getting? Now it is creating this specific role. If at all this elephant is vanished, then that specific role will also be vanished. Are you getting? Are you getting? So this sort of specific activity or a specific role created by a species, it is called as niche. Are you getting? It is called as niche. And this niche is actually specific to one organism. See, for example, habitat can be shared by different species, but essentially niche is only one for one species. Clear? So same things is given here also, if you can see here. So for example, habitat is a particular place where these organisms live. Correct? And if you take this niche, niche is a specific role played by the organisms in an ecosystem. Clear? And habitat is like not species specific. It is like shared by different species. But this is species specific. Are you getting? So this much is enough. So habitat considers of several niche, obviously. correct? Because cellular organisms is there, so several niche would be there. But within niche, there is no different types of habitat. Clear? And all these things are important for your GS also. Clear? Up to here it is clear, everyone? Right. Now, we'll be looking into this ecosystem. So then what is this ecosystem? Okay. Basically, it is interactions, correct? No. So we have discussed these three basically words, including this. That is, one is environment, ecology, and now we are going to discuss this ecosystem. If we take this hierarchy, or else if you want to put this in a descending order, so descending order means small to big, small to big. Because see, these are the common mistakes you will be making, especially CSAT when you come out and we will be saying that silly mistake. Silly mistake is like this only. When you know that you have to do this addition, you would have done this subtraction. Or else you know this ascending order would have been asked, you would have done this descending order. Are you getting? Okay. If I want to put these three terms in descending order, then what would be the highest one? Environment. So second one is ecosystem. Last one is ecology. So in this ecosystem, what is happening? As everybody is saying, it is again interactions between this biotic and abiotic components, and what is that ecological services it is going to create. Correct? You know this ecological services? No? See, for example, if you take forest. So forest, it is not just creating like, timber for you. Correct? It is also giving n number of other services. For example, if at all it is there, rain will be good. Right? It is also called as lungs of the earth. Correct? And also it is going to like, root system, it is going to bind the soil together. So soil erosion will be arrested. Correct? Then small streams will be formed. Correct? All these are the services which is provided. So basically functional services we say, and also ecological services we say. Within this ecological services, again like economic services, all those things will come. Correct? So basically this services which is provided because of these interactions. So that I can call it as ecosystem. Correct? So it is a specific defined unit of this environment. Are you getting? In other words, it is a part of environment. Clear? So and this is basically like living organisms, their surroundings, and what is the interactions happening between them. But here again the main focus area would be of, see in ecology I told you it is the interactions are many very important here, right? So in this ecosystems also it is about interactions, but mainly with respect to this living and its surroundings. Correct? There it is with living plus living, that is to say within the species or as between the plants and with the environment. Are you getting? Here mainly it is with respect to individual and with respect to environment. Are you getting? So though it is not like biggest of the differences, but when you are writing the answers, if you make this sort of differentiation in the answers, then it will be much more specific. Clear? Up to here it is clear? Right. So scope, so here particular habitat will be focused. Correct? Can you give an example of this, ecosystem? So for ecology, I told you crop ecology. For ecosystem, marine ecosystem, freshwater ecosystem, coral ecosystem. That is to say one specific habitat we are taking. So marine means only marine organisms is considered. Coral means only corals will be considered. Correct? So same thing, when you are going to consider only one thing, one habitat, then it is going to be called as ecosystem. Are you getting? Here only the focus will be on that particular habitat. Could be for agro ecosystem also. Right? So now are you able to interconnect these things? Correct? So if you understand the basic concept, then it will be easy for you to write for agro something, agroecology, agro ecosystem, or else agro environment. Clear? Right? Same thing. So it is a like particular habitat, and they are self-contained systems, because here the matter and energy, it will be cyclicity. It will be flowing in the same system. Right? Up to here it is clear? Right. Next one, components. What are the major components? So I will show you in the next slide. So major components we know in this thing ecosystem, they are biotic and abiotic components. So biotic major ones are producers, consumers, correct, and also decomposers. But if you take this abiotic components, we have physical, inorganic, and organic substances. And basically the interaction between these two things, that is going to create this services for the mankind. Up to here it is clear, everyone? Right. Okay, so these are the differences. See, ecology, it is the study of interactions. Mainly, ecology, it is the study of interactions. Ecosystem, if we take, it is a functional unit. So it is a part of this environment, correct? And environment, it is a group of ecosystems. It is the broader one. So if I want to put it in the descending order, that is how it looks like. Correct. Environment, ecology, and then ecosystem. Clear? Yes? Okay. So principles of ecology. Up to here it is clear? Now, principles of ecology. I will do one thing. So this thing, principles of ecology. When I say ecology, basically you are speaking of, what is the keyword here? Interactions, correct? When there is interactions, obviously there will be interdependence. Now can you relate it? So that's why I taken that much time to explain this concept itself. Essentially, see, when you go to read this, what will happen? You will just buy at the things, you will be able to write the definition, but you won't understand it. See here, without even looking into this thing, even without looking into this subheadings, you can definitely think of certain things. For example, when I say it is interactions, interdependency should be there, balance should be there, biodiversity conservation should be there, correct? There should be promotion of biodiversity, correct? These basic things comes to your mind, and see, those are the principles here. So that's why understanding the concept is very, very important. Clear? Now interdependence. Can you give an example of interdependence? Interdependence. Symbiotic association, that also you can give. Or can you think from like environment point of view, not from like agriculture point of view? Environment, interdependence. Plants? Okay. So basically water and plants. So it is dependent on that, correct? Or else, let's say for example, this rainforests. You would have heard Amazon rainforest, correct? So in this rainforest, one of the major feature is thick canopy and tall canopy. Yes? Why? Correct? So that is what. At the same time, when this taller growing plants, it is going at taller heights, even this creepers, it will be growing on these plants or else trees, correct? So that is the example you can give here. So that is to say, these plants, it is dependent on the sunlight. Because there is blockage, it is taking this another path, that is the tree trunks, and it is trying to reach to the sunlight, correct? So dependence on sunlight plus this photosynthesis, that also one of the interdependence you can say. Now remove this sunlight, obviously other things will die. So that is the concept of interdependence. Clear? Next one is energy flow. As I told you, see, actually the funny thing is that, again, I can give you another example. See, in OGP also I have given like a number of like movies examples. So here I will give you another documentary example. In this Netflix, it is called as Into the Cosmos. Into the Cosmos is the heading of this, documentary. Essentially, in +2 you would have heard about this theory, that is thermodynamics, theory of the thermodynamics, laws of thermodynamics. So one of the law is energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but it can be converted from one form to another form, correct? So same thing in the documentary, how they have depicted is that, see, sun is the basic source of all the energy, at least on earth, correct? Of course, chemosynthetic, that is different, but in general, correct? So, and another important thing I want to say here, see, especially I would have given this example in this, OGP classes. That is to say, there was this question in 2016, prelims question, that is drip irrigation. It leads to reduction in weed management. Is that true? True? Yes? So I learned that in a painful way. Because when I gave that attempt of 2016, what happened is that I thought of exceptions, right? Why this statement could be wrong. But basically, I never thought of like why this statement could be right. So this is the problem. With knowledge, it will be coming. Are you getting? So don't go for exceptions. When I say that sun is the primary source of energy, that is true only. So you can say that chemical is like for few of the things, but that is the exception. Clear? So don't do this mistake in prelims, right? Now coming back to that, so energy is like a sun is the primary source of energy. So from this sunlight, plant is creating this biomass. So on that biomass, this herbivore is coming and feeding, and that another plant is feeding, another organism is feeding. So this food chain is going to continue. But essentially the primary source of energy, which is coming from sun, it is manifested in different forms, but essentially nothing is lost, because once that is dead, like carnivore is also dead, so decomposers will be feeding on that. Even the decomposer, they will go into the soil itself. So everything is made out of carbon. At the end of the day, it is also going to be a part of carbon itself. So now energy is neither created nor destroyed, but it is manifesting from one form to another form. While this manifestation is happening, there will be loss of energy. Are you getting? Right? So that is this energy flow. Clear? Next one is nutrient cycling. So this is also important. See, for example, you would have heard about this biogeochemical cycles. Yes? N cycle, P cycle. Yes or no? So basically all this are happening in a cyclical way. Correct? So nutrients is moving from one source to another source, and again it is coming back to the primary source. Correct? So this cyclicity is also ensured in the ecology. Next one is biodiversity. Yes? Because when I say about interactions, so then interactions will be leading to complexity in the system. So that will promote the biodiversity. Correct? Now if you take this ecology and think of like agroecology now, like what is happening to this biodiversity? Are you able to get now? See, I am asking like, so I am saying in general in ecology, so biodiversity will be promoted because of complex interactions between different species. Now if I say about agroecology, what is happening there? In agroecology, will there be increase in diversity? You can think of like agroecology as of now, yes or no? So will there be increase in the diversity or decrease in the diversity? Increase, pakka. See, can you give an example of like which type of agriculture we are practicing? Monoculture. In monoculture, will there be diversity? Then how come diversity will be promoted? If you take even rice wheat cropping system, what is happening? Anaerobic conditions. Only anaerobic sort of like microbes or as like plants will be grown there. Are you getting? So this is the problem in agroecology. So if you remember I told you this, what are the reasons for decrease in the productivity of the ecosystem? So one of the things you can say is loss of biodiversity. Are you getting? So this is the interlinkages it should be happening when you are reading. Are you able to interlink now? Yes, though we are reading like from the core concept of this ecology, we are relating that for the agriculture itself. Clear? Right? So that is one. Next one is competition. So competition is obvious because for nutrients, for sunlight, for water, everything there will be competition between species. Symbiosis, obviously, so one will be promoting the another. Correct? So that is called as mutualism. Yes or no? Correct? Then there is another concept, commensalism. Have you heard what is happening there? Another is? Correct. So one is getting benefited, another one is neither harmed nor benefited. It is totally unaffected, one is getting benefit. Are you getting? So those sort of things like symbiosis or else interactions, it will be happening. Succession, have you heard this term? Succession. And again, this is important. So what is this ecological succession? Need not be always loss, it can be gain also. Right? For example, in the case of agriculture, I can give you one example. You know, shifting cultivation. It is also called as slash and burn. Correct? Zoom, correct? Slash and burn basically. So in this slash means what? We are cutting this forest. Then we are burning the trunks or else whatever the like root part it is there. Then we are going for cultivation of the crops. Correct? So now what is happening is that we know that we say this slash and burn is bad for environment. Correct? But if at all it was in the original form. See, originally what was happening is that, so when this slashed, forest is there, then agriculture is practiced, then the fallow period, that is no crop period, would be for at least 5 to 8 years. Correct? So that was the fallow period or else no crop period. But now what is happening is that fallow period, we are reducing it for 1 or 2 years. So that is going to reduce this ecological succession chances. Now, for example, see, you would have seen many movies which predict this end of the world, right? Especially in this 2012. If you are aware, so there was this movie also. No, then old example. Then if you take like any recent like apocalypse movies, basically they will be saying that world is going to end. After that they will show this one plant it is germinating, one something is coming out. In other words, nature will find its own way to emerge back. That resilience property, that coming back into the nature, that is called as succession. So in this succession, what is happening is, it is a gradual process where there will be increase in the biodiversity. Are you getting? Yes. So that is the succession part. Simple example, you know this. What is it called as? You know California. You would have heard at least. So in this California, they call it as like heartless desert because it will be of very intense heat. And literally nothing can grow there. So, but one time what happened is that because of excessive storm, excessive storm, just by the springtime, so entire this desert which was there, it was converted into lush green field. So though it was just for temporary period, it was happening because that is called as ecological succession. Because whatever the thing which was needed for this nature to grow, it was there. But the main ingredient, that is water or else climate, that was not there. When that is provided, it is going to grow back. Correct? That is also one of the example we can think of. Right? Next one is limiting factors, obviously. So like in this soil science, we have something called as concept of essential nutrients, essentiality of the nutrients. So what is the three main criteria we are saying? At least one main criteria. When can we say it as an essential nutrient? Correct. So it cannot be replaced by another element, and it should be provided in the adequate content, then it can grow in a particular way. Correct. So same thing here, limiting factors is that sort of main ingredient or else main component, if at all it is missing, then that particular species cannot grow. So that is called as limiting factors. Carrying capacity, this is very important. So have you heard this term, carrying capacity? No. So if not, again this is going to be very important. Have you heard this term called as earth overshoot day? Yes. What is this earth overshoot day? Earth overshoot day. Just go by literal meaning. So divide the words. Earth overshoot day. What is the meaning of overshoot? Okay. So basically, let's think like this. So Mother Earth is there, correct? So Mother Earth, every year she is going to give you like 100 units of total natural resources. 100 units. So this 100 units, it is supposed to be used for 1 year. Now because of in the greed of overdevelopment, excessive development, what we are doing is that we are going to consume that 100 units before 1 year itself. Are you getting that rest of the period? Let's say for example, if you are like using that by 8 months, then 4 months is what? The extra period. In this 4 months, what you are doing is that you are going to utilize the natural resource which is meant for next year. Are you getting? Or else future generation. So that concept is called as earth overshoot day. You are utilizing more than what we sorry. So we are utilizing more than what we are producing. So that is the concept of earth overshoot day. Now we are carrying capacity. What does this mean is that, so earth will have its or else like any ecosystem or else any ecology, it will have its own carrying capacity, that is maximum strength it can support for. See, for example, when overpopulation is going to happen, there will be competition for resources, then there will be reduction in the productivity. So that is what it is happening as of now. But essentially carrying capacity means it is the maximum capacity of the population of a species and ecology or else environment can support for. Are you getting? So that is the concept of carrying capacity. Up to here it is clear? Everyone? Right. Decrease in agroecology. Okay. Have you heard about this natural farming? Okay. In natural farming, what we are doing is that we are trying to mimic the nature. Correct. So human intervention should be as minimal as possible. Correct. If possible, not elimination, like minimal. So in natural farming, usual way of crop production is crop diversification. We are going for 2 or 3 more types of crops, and usually fruit crops or else like horticultural crops, agroforestry crops, everything will be mixed together. Correct. Now if you take like industrial agriculture, chemical agriculture, now maximum is one type of crop, it is grown in large acres of land. Only one type of crop means only one type of species is there. Now is that increase in the speciation or else increase in the species diversity or else reduction in the species diversity? Reduction, one example. And another example, now let's say for example, you are taking this one particular crop for 4 to 5 years. Now what sort of like pest and diseases will be promoted? Only specific to that crop. Now even microbes and also associated like pest and diseases, it cannot be grown there. Correct? Now we are reducing those things. Now even if you take up another crop after like 5 to 6 years, then new pests and diseases, it will be difficult for there to emerge because the biodiversity level would have been reduced. Are you getting? When that is happening, what we are doing? We are compensating via chemical methods of control, basically herbicides, pesticides. That is why we are using. Because if at all like in the natural farming, what is the main cause? It is natural enemies. We are going to promote this natural enemies so that it is going to feed on the pest and also on the disease causing pathogen, then the control would be there. We are destroying that natural balance. So that's why we are increasing the chemicals and natural things is reducing. So that's why because of this imbalance, there will be reduction in the biodiversity. Clear? Up to here it is clear, right? Okay, then we'll do one thing. First I will dictate these notes for this terminologies and these principles. Then we'll discuss this concept of this ecological productivity, right? So first I will dictate these notes. Okay, take heading as ecology and relevance to man. Ecology and relevance to man. Ecology and relevance to man. Within this, these things I'm just saying as like, index, so that it will be easy for you to revise. So difference between ecology, environment, difference between ecology, environment, habitat and ecosystem. After that, principles of ecology. Next, ecological productivity. Principles of ecology, ecological productivity. Next, relevance to man. Next, agroecology. And ecological agriculture. Ecological agriculture hyphen definition, principles, practices, declining productivity, and ways to increase it. Next, cropping pattern as indicator of environments. Now, first one, ecology. Definition. Ecology definition. Ecology is a scientific discipline. Ecology is a scientific discipline. Ecology is a scientific discipline that focuses on the study of relationships, between living organisms, study of relationships between living organisms and their interactions with each other, and their physical surroundings, or habitats. Full stop. Next one, scope. Ecology examines the interactions and dynamics of organisms, dynamics of organisms, dynamics of organisms, communities, communities and ecosystems, and ecosystems within the natural world, within the natural world, within the natural world. Natural world, 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 natural world. Next, emphasis. Emphasis. It primarily emphasizes, it primarily emphasizes the study of how living organisms interact with each other, and their environment, full stop. The flow of energy, and cyclicity of nutrients, the flow of energy and cyclicity of nutrients, the flow of energy and cyclicity of nutrients are vital, are of vital importance, Next one, environment. Definition. Environment refers to the sum total of all external conditions and influences comma, both living and non-living, that surround and affect an organism. Scope. It encompasses everything. In the external world, comma, including physical, comma, chemical, biological, and social factors, that impact living organisms. Emphasis. It encompasses a broader range of It encompasses a range of broader range of factors such as air, 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 water quality, climate, pollution, infrastructure, and human activities. Next one, ecosystem. Ecosystem definition. An ecosystem is a specific defined unit of the environment that consists of both living organisms and their physical surroundings full stop. Ecosystems can vary in size from a small pond to a large forest full stop. Next, scope. Ecosystem focuses on interactions between all the organisms in a particular habitat and the physical and chemical components of that environment. Next one, components of ecosystem. You can take this flow chart. Is it done? Done? Okay. Next heading, principles of ecology. Principles of ecology. First one, interdependence. Interdependence. In an environment, where each species, in an environment where each species interact with other species, each species interact with other species, comma, change in one part of ecology, change in one part of ecology can have ripple effect, RIPPLE, ripple effects throughout the system, ripple effects throughout the system. Next one, energy flow. Energy flow. Energy flows through the system. Energy flows through the system in one-way direction. In one-way direction. In one-way direction. Typically from sun to producers, sun to producers, sun to producers, and then through various trophic levels, and then through various trophic levels, full stop. Energy is lost, energy is lost at each trophic level, through metabolic processes, full stop. Next, nutrient cycling. Decomposers play a crucial role in breaking down complex organic matter and ensuring cyclicity of nutrients, such as nitrogen, carbon, phosphorus, etc. Next, biodiversity. It refers to variety of species. And their interactions. Full stop. High biodiversity can contribute. High biodiversity can contribute to ecosystem stability. Can contribute to ecosystem stability and resilience. RE, stability and resilience. RESILIENCE. Resilience, by increasing the chances that some species can adapt to changing conditions. Next one, competition. Competition occurs when organisms within an ecosystem fight for limited resources. Full stop. Competition can lead to niche specialization. NICHE. Niche specialization. Full stop. Next one, succession. Ecological succession refers to gradual and predictable changes in species composition and community structure over time. Full stop. Primary succession occurs on newly formed land. While secondary succession follows disturbances like fires or deforestation, etc. Next, carrying capacity. It is the maximum population size. Of a species. It is the maximum population size of a species that the ecosystem can support sustainably. Full stop. It depends on the availability of resources. It depends on the availability of resources. And ecosystems ability to recycle nutrients. Full stop. Next is habitat and niche. Difference between habitat and niche. I forget to dictate that. You can take down this. Oh, skip that. Okay, limited factors. Limited factors limited factors, environmental factors that limit the growth or distribution, environmental factors that limit the growth or distribution of species such as temperature, water availability and nutrient levels are called limiting factors. Full stop. Organisms are adapted to tolerate a specific range of these factors. Then take down this. Done. Done. Everyone, right. Then we'll take this next topic, that is ecological productivity. Right. So ecological productivity. What is the meaning of productivity? Production per unit area. Okay. Production per unit area. Right. So in the context of like ecology, what is the production means? Biomass, correct? So in other words, I can say, so ecological productivity as biomass generated per unit area, correct? See, if at all the productivity or else like the species richness or else diversity is more, then obviously the biomass will be increasing per unit area. See, in agriculture, what is the example you can give here? One way, or else like can you think of some special type of agriculture? You know this HDP, high density planting, correct? Here what is happening? Per unit area, number of plants will be increased. Are you getting? Then the biomass generated will also be increased, correct? Can I give another example of this in any other technique, which was also a prelims question, if you want a clue? No. Yeah, there also you can say vertical farming. Yes, of course, you can say vertical farming. Okay, multi-storied cropping. Have you heard this? Miyawaki. What is Miyawaki? Urban forestry. Here also what is happening? What is happening here? The spacing between two plants will be very, very less. Are you getting? So if you visit this, BBMP parks, which is around, so in few of the parks, they have like converted this into like Miyawaki parks, right? So all these things in commercial sense, we can understand. What is this? Ecological productivity, correct? Here the productivity will be more when compared to the traditional agriculture. Here the biomass per unit area, it is what we are going to consider as ecological productivity. So what will be the unit for this? Unit. What will be the unit? How can we measure this productivity? See, I can give you one example, grams per meter square per day, correct? In other words, what is the 3 units which I am taking? Gram is basically mass, correct? Meter square, I can say it as volume, correct? This is unit of time. In other words, biomass generated per volume or else like mass generated per volume in a specific unit of time, then we are going to call it as ecological productivity. Up to here it is clear? You got the concept? What is ecological productivity? Okay. Now we'll understand, basically there are two types of ecological productivity, correct? So one is called as primary productivity and second one is secondary productivity. Okay. We all know sun is the primary source of energy, correct? Now let's say there is a plant. Now sun rays are falling like this, yes or no? See, and to be like technically clear, what you can do is that, see, sun rays travel in photons, you would have heard. So that will travel in this waveform, correct? So when you are writing this in the school times, it is fine, writing like this. But at least here, you have to be little bit technical. So write in the form of wave, right? So okay, so sun will be giving this energy. So utilizing this, it will be doing this photosynthesis. Okay, photosynthesis will happen in night or day? Pakka? Sure. Okay, so photosynthesis basically happens in daytime. In night time, what happens? What happens in night time? Transpiration. Daytime, no transpiration. It will happen. So basically in night time, it is respiration, correct? So this is the usual case, but it is ulta also is possible. I am saying in general ways, correct? Now, so here what is happening? It is gaining basically, correct? Here it is sort of losing, right? Now, under this primary productivity, we have another two concepts. One is called as, one is gross primary productivity. So what is this gross? For example, have you heard this like income being said? Gross income, net income. Yes. What is the meaning of gross income? Total salary you will be getting, correct? Now, for example, you know this income tax, how much percent? 30%. Yes or no? Have you heard this TDS? 10%. So basically, without these deductions, what is the total amount I will be getting? So that is basically called as salary. So that is gross salary. Here in gross primary productivity, what I am saying is that we will not consider this respiration. Only photosynthesis will be considered. In other words, the chlorophyll. Have you heard this chlorophyll? Yes. So the quantity of chlorophyll present in the vegetation, that will determine the primary productivity. In other words, what is the quantity of photosynthesis happening in autotrophs or else in producers? That is what it is called as primary productivity. Are you getting this? Right? Now, secondary productivity. What is the meaning of secondary productivity? Here I told you like we are not considering this respiration. Correct? Sorry, okay. In secondary productivity, it is mainly it is by consumers, correct? So this vegetation will be produced here or else biomass is there. Now this biomass, it will be consumed by, let's say, herbivores. On this the carnivore will feed, and then when it is going to die, so heterovores or else decomposers, it will be feeding on this. Now, basically, when this production or else autotrophs, it is producing something, let's say, from this sun, 100, joules, right? It is unit of energy. So now let's say, for example, 100 units is produced from this sun. So when it is reaching this autotrophs, now let's say only 50 units is being utilized for this thing, biomass generation. Now, so this will be fed by this herbivores. Now here what is happening from year to year, from year to year? So everywhere, what is happening? 10% is going or being lost? Being lost. Pakka. Pakka. So 10% is the only thing which is sent from one trophic to another trophic level. See, if that ulta was true, that is like 10% is lost and 90% is like it is sent, then we would have much better productivity in the ecosystem. That is not happening. Even in this 10%, if at all the biodiversity is less, if at all there is like unsustainable practices, then even 10% will not be promoted to the other level. Are you getting? Right? So this concept is basically called as energy flow. So diagrams I will show you the diagrams, but essentially understand the concept. Clear? Now, so gross primary productivity we understood. Now net primary productivity. So net primary productivity, it is gross primary productivity minus respiration or else metabolic needs. Correct. So this is called as net primary productivity. Up to here it is clear, everyone, right? So same thing is depicted in this, diagrams you can see here. See primary productivity. So this is the producer. So can you see here the respiration is happening, correct? It is being lost. But here it is the net primary production, that is like considering only photosynthesis. So here the fruit is produced, on this larvae is feeding. So from this larvae again somebody else will be feeding. So another energy will be lost, correct? So this is what the primary and secondary productivity concept, clear? And same thing, this is like energy pyramid, if you can see here. So the sun is a primary source. So this much amount of energy is produced from year to year, only 10% is what being transferred. Are you getting? So 90% is getting waste in the transition levels. Up to here it is clear, everyone? Now, so if you can take here, this is like generalization which has been made. That is, what is the productivity, ecological productivity happening in different types of ecosystems. For example, if you take this farms and marshes, it is having this much of productivity. But if you take this cultivated lands, that is basically agriculture. So it is just 650. It is one of the least productive systems. Up to here it is clear, everyone? So what are the basic concepts we discussed today? Up to here: environment, ecology, ecosystem, principles of habitat and niche, and then principles of ecology, and then productivity concept, correct? Now can you utilize all these concepts and tell me what is the relevance of this ecology to the man? Can I interlink everything? What is the relevance of all these topics to man? Why we should be needing learning all these things? Why? You should be thinking this. Why should we read all these things apart from it is part of syllabus? Apart from that, what are the other reasons, or else how this is being relevant to mankind? Yes, think, you will get it. Good. So man is like a consumer. So when he is feeding on this primary producers, should have the understanding. So either he is eating more or is eating less. What is the stability? What is the ecological balance? Correct. And their interactions. Correct. Good. Then that's it. Only shellfish needs. Is there anything else? Sustainability. Yes. Good. How? Good. So that is to say, when you have this interactions idea, you will have natural resources idea. Then you can go for sustainable management of the natural resources. Very good. Then good. Adaptability. Very good. Because this G20 when it is happening, so there was this symposium which was happening called as climate resilient agriculture. You know this IIMR, Indian Institute of Millet Research. It is in Hyderabad. So there the symposium was happening, climate resilience agriculture. So there the main focus would be on adaptation to this changing climate. Correct? Very good. Because ecological interactions will be giving us like what sort of like changes is happening, and accordingly we can plan for our agriculture systems. Very good. Then that's it. Think of it, you will get it. See, for me, I can give you the concept. If you are not again saying, then it will be like a problem for me. Developing future technologies. Can I give an example? Okay, or else you can give another, correct, another example. For example, weather forecasting. Correct. Then any other advantage, or else any other relevance to the man? Why we should be studying this ecology? Can I say biodiversity conservation? Yes or no? Because interactions I will be understanding. If I preserve the biodiversity, then there will be ecological services, for example, nutrient cycling, for example, pollination. Yes? All these things will be there. Anything else? Anything else? Biomagnification or else eutrophication, all those things can be reduced, correct then? Even tackling pollution, that you can say. Even for policy making, for example, have you heard this concept EIA? What is EIA? Environmental Impact Assessment. Basically there what we are doing, we are trying to analyze these interactions only. Then what is the impact it is going to have on the associated biotic and abiotic components in the longer term. So that is what we are going to determine in EIA, correct? Then any other thing? At least are you able to think now? What should be your thinking process? Yes? Right. So same things is given here also, correct? So for example, resource management, you only said, correct? So biodiversity conservation, just now I explained. So climate change is nothing but adaptation, which he said. Yes? Are you getting? So agriculture, that is to say modified forms of agriculture, sustainable agriculture, natural farming, organic farming. So all these things are based on ecological principles only, correct? So next one is ecosystem services. As I told you, like pollination, correct, nutrient cycling, hydrological cycle, right? Next one is human health. Yes, obviously, because see, especially during this COVID, this concept got resurfaced, called as One Health. Have you heard? Yes, One Health is basically the health of, so everything will be taken into consideration. That is the same human health, animal health, plant health, soil health, and planet health. So now all these things are integrated. Just because we are humans, we cannot treat our health as very important here. If at all the rest of the health is also good, then only the human health will be good. For example, zoonotic diseases. Now again the recent disease is coming, that is Nipah, that is zoonotic only. Are you getting? So because there is interactions between man and other species, obviously the health of everything is important. That is called as One Health concept. So same thing. So this ecological principles or study of ecology will help us in having better human health management services also, correct? Urban planning, obviously, because see, urban ecology is a different concept. Yes? So in urban ecology, something called as like, okay, geography is done for you? No. Going on. So something called as like urban heat island concept is there. So that is to say, in urban areas, what is happening? The greener cover is less. More of concretization, only concrete, tar, roads, these are there. When this is more, if at all there is like a slightly drought period, or as there is slightly increase in the heat, what will happen? The heat feeling in this urban areas, it will be intensified. So that process is called as urban heat island concept, because this urban area itself will become like an island. Are you getting? Now you can relate this to this, what is that? Asia Cup, which is going on. The host country is Pakistan, then Sri Lanka. Correct? The neutral venue is Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is an island nation. So obviously the weather is unpredictable, that we have suffered because the matches got abandoned, few matches it is delayed, etc. Now are you getting? So in this island, the weather or else the climate itself is unique. In a day itself, it will be changing too much. Yes, in this urban area, when I say it as urban heat island concept, because island, why I am saying? Because of this concretization, because of these roads, it is cut off from the natural environment. Are you getting? Yes. Now this island itself is like a natural ecosystem in its own way. Are you getting? So that's why those sort of things will be helpful for urban planning. Next one is environmental ethics. Yes. So these days it is becoming more and more important. Let's say for example, you know this Narmada Bachao. So that was happening. Chipko movement, that was happening. So all those things is preferring only one thing, that is development should happen but not at the cost of environment. Correct? So that sort of ethics will come into play. Policy making and policy and decision making. Just now I explained you. EIA, environmental impact assessment. Next one is natural disasters. Obviously, for example, you know heat wave concept. So heat waves, droughts. So for this management, obviously the interactions between this biotic and abiotic components, it will be of crucial time. Yes? Up to here you got it, everyone? Yes? Now. So this is the question. So 2021, we'll do one thing, since this is the first day, we'll practice this in the class itself, right? So this is the 20 markers question. So in the examination, how much time you will be getting to write 20 markers question? 15 minutes? 15 minutes? So somewhere around 12 to 13 minutes is what practically you'll be getting, right? So here, since this is the first day, so we'll take like 15 minutes, or else we'll do one thing. You take down this question, right? So you take down this question. In the next class, we'll discuss this. Do this as homework. Now, after this, I will show you this, the science part which I told you. I will show you that one video. Then, if time permits, we can take up another concepts. If not, we'll conclude the class, right? Now, take down this question. So this will be acting as homework for you. Because just now we discussed the relevance to man. Now the question is asking relevance to crop production, right? Content would be almost same. Now you have to contextualize it, right? Done? Taken down the question? Yes. Okay. So this is the thing which I'll be discussing or showing you today. So this is called as Dehat, right? So Dehat, actually it is founded by this Vishal Kumar, this person. So what happened is that, see, in a way I have chosen this particular topic because of so many reasons. One is obviously I wanted to show you what is the potential of this agri startups, or it's like entrepreneurship in this agriculture. That is one. Second important thing is that, most of us share the same sort of journey. Yes or no? That is to say, parents would be like middle class. They would have sacrificed a lot to give us education, correct? And in fact, the parents, they themselves would not wish that whatever the life struggles they had, that should be faced by us. Could be like agriculture itself. If you take the same scenario in Bihar, it is much more intense, right? So this person is basically from Bihar. So where their parents would be doing this thing, what is that? Agriculture, and lot many children would be there, and giving education to all of them itself is a challenge. So this person was lucky enough to get scholarships and entering into different streams and ended up in the IIT. After that, at every stage, people started telling him, so clear this 10th exam, get good college, then your life will be settled. After that, IIT job, so go to this IIT, then your life will be settled. After that, they'll say that you should get good placement, then your life is settled. But they had this confusion. When is my life going to settle? And what is the meaning of this settling? Right, after that, he had very good corporate job. He left all those things. He went back to his home place, and people calling him as a duffer, because maybe he has lost everything there. Maybe he would have been fired. That's how he has come back here. So essentially, his intention was that he wanted to start this agriculture startup in this, especially seed supply chain, right? Quality seed supply chain, or quality imports. He wanted to start that. So in the initial days, what are the struggles he faced, and what is the criticism he has faced, and despite that, how this startup became a successful company, right? Now it is valued more than 5,000 crores. The company is valued more than 5,000 crores, but the humble beginnings, how it started, how this idea generated, on those things, the person himself will be talking in the video. So I'll be showing you that video. It will be approximately somewhere around 15 to 20 minutes, right? So do watch that video and then get the learnings. Clear?
कि मैं एक लोअर मिडिल क्लास फैमिली से आता हूं, मेरे घर परिवार में किसी ने कभी ऐसा कुछ बिजनेस किया ही नहीं। लगभग 8-9 महीनों के बाद हिम्मत जुटा पाया कि नहीं, मुझे ये करना है। क्यों? क्योंकि
हिंदी एवरीबॉडी कैन अंडरस्टैंड, राइट? ओके।
और ने नहीं किया, जॉब रिजाइन किया, वापस बिहार। 24 साल की उम्र में नौकरी छोड़ करके दिल्ली से वापस बिहार, लगा कि अब तो मैं दुनिया बदल दूंगा। बैग टांग करके किसानों से मिलने लगा कि आज तो मैं इतिहास रचने आया हूं। और वहां पहुंचने पे लगता है कि किसी को शायद इसकी जरूरत ही नहीं है। मैं शशांक, सीईओ देहात, जो स्टॉक बिहार के मंच पे अपने देहात की जर्नी के एक्सपीरियंस को साझा करने आया हूं। मेरी कहानी 1980 के दशक में बिहार के लोअर मिडिल क्लास के जन्मे वो हर इंसान जैसी है, जहां हर पेरेंट्स की एक ही इच्छा होती थी कि बच्चा बिहार के बाहर चला जाए, वो ग्रामीण रूरल परिवेश से बहुत दूर जाए, राज्य के बाहर जाए और वहां जाके सेटल हो जाए, एक अच्छी नौकरी कर ले। और जहां आप एक जॉइंट फैमिली के बीच में होते थे और जहां पर बचपन में ही आपके पास जिम्मेदारियों का बोझ आ जाता था। मुझे याद है 2 भाई और 1 बहन के साथ एक सम्मिलित परिवार में बिहार के छपरा के एक बहुत ही छोटे से गांव, छोटे से सेमी अर्बन परिवेश में मेरी शुरुआती 7-8 साल कटी। मुझे याद है जब मेरे से बड़ा भाई, उसका सैनिक स्कूल में होता है, जो अपने आप में एक बहुत ही बड़े गर्व की बात थी। तो एक तरफ गांव, समाज, मोहल्ला खुशी मना रहा था, तो वहीं दूसरी तरफ शायद माता पिता परेशान भी थे कि इतने खर्चे कहां से आएंगे। और वहीं तभी मुझे पता चलता है एक स्कूल के बारे में, नेतरहाट, जहां की पढ़ाई भी अच्छी थी, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर भी अच्छा था और सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट स्कॉलरशिप 100% थी। और वहीं पे गांव में, समाज में किसी ने कहा कि भाई उस स्कूल में जाओगे तो शायद लाइफ बन जाएगी। आप सोचो 11-12 साल की उम्र में कुछ 12,000 बच्चों ने एग्जाम दिया और तब जाकर के 100 में से शायद मैं एक था। स्कूल गया, नेतरहाट गया, खुश था, लग रहा था कि भाई तो पहुंच गया, शायद अब लाइफ बन जाएगी। वहां गया तो किसी ने बताया कि भाई 10वीं में, 10th में अच्छे मार्क्स आ जाएंगे तो लाइफ बन जाएगी। क्यों भाई? कि शायद साइंस कॉलेज में एडमिशन हो जाएगा या शायद दिल्ली के अच्छे स्कूल में एडमिशन हो जाएगा। तो लगा कि भाई चलो वैसा करते हैं। 10वीं में अच्छे मार्क्स आए, स्टेट रैंक आया, वहां तक गाड़ी पहुंची। फिर उसके बाद किसी ने बोला IIT में हो जाएगी तो लाइफ बन जाएगी। तो लगा भाई चल ऐसा भी कर लेते हैं, 2-3 साल की बात और है। फिर 2-3 साल की घिसाई, 2-3 साल की पढ़ाई, बड़ों के आशीर्वाद से IIT में भी हो गया। 2004 में IIT दिल्ली जाने का मौका मिला, यहां पहुंचा, फिर अलग लड़ाई। लोगों ने कहा कि भाई अच्छी नौकरी लग जाए, Day 1 पे प्लेसमेंट हो जाए तो लाइफ बन जाएगी। लेकिन कुल मिलाकर के लाइफ की पूरी जर्नी ऐसी रही जहां लोगों ने आपको गाइड किया, जहां पे गांव, समाज, आपके परिवेश ने आपको बताया कि आपको क्या करना है। हाँ, अच्छी बात यह थी कि शायद रिजल्ट की परवाह किए बगैर, जिम्मेदारियों को समझते हुए पूरी कोशिश की और हर एक मुकाम हासिल करता गया, चाहे वो पढ़ाई हो, चाहे वो IIT हो, चाहे वो नौकरी हो, कुछ भी हो। 2008 में कॉलेज से निकला, अच्छी नौकरी लगी, मैनेजमेंट कंसल्टिंग की नौकरी थी, अच्छे पैसे मिलते थे, आराम की जिंदगी थी और लगभग 2.5-3 साल लगभग वहां नौकरी भी की। लेकिन तब तक यह समझ में आया कि शायद कुछ तो खास है, कुछ तो खास है। शायद अपने आप को समझने का मौका मिला, शायद उन्हीं शुरुआती दिनों में जो जिम्मेदारियों का जो एहसास हुआ था, उसके कारण से खुद को सोचा कि आखिर मैं क्या हूं, मेरे में क्या खास है। और मुझे रियलाइज हुआ कि कुछ ऐसा करने में जहां सामने वाले का भी कुछ भला हो रहा है, मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है। और शायद यही कारण है कि लोगों ने कहा ये कर लो तो वो कर लिया, लोगों ने कहा ऐसा कर लो, तो लोगों को खुश करने के लिए शायद यहां तक पहुंचा और सब कुछ अच्छा ही रहा। बात 2010-11 की है। उस वक्त भारत में, इंडिया में स्टार्टअप या एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप जैसे वर्ड धीरे धीरे कहीं कहीं सुनने को मिलते थे। 2010-11 को अगर आप याद करो तो फ्लिपकार्ट बन चुका था और रश्मि मंसल की कुछ किताबें मार्केट में आ गई थी। गलती से मैंने भी वो कुछ किताबें पढ़ ली और गलती से IIT दिल्ली के नेटवर्क के कारण से पता चला कि देश दुनिया में क्या चल रहा है और लोग अब महज MBA या इस तरह के करियर ऑप्शन की बजाय स्टार्टअप या एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप को भी चुन रहे हैं। और सोचना शुरू किया कि आखिर मैं क्या कर सकता हूं, क्या मैं नौकरी के लिए बना हूं, क्या मुझे MBA करना है, क्या मुझे वही गांव, वही समाज वाले जो अब कहते हैं कि अब तुम IAS कर लो, UPSC कर लो, क्या वो करना है। और लगा कि नहीं, शायद मैं किसी और चीज के लिए बना हूं, शायद मैं कुछ बहुत बड़ा कर सकता हूं। और खुद को, जो कहते हैं ना वो स्टीव जॉब्स की वो कनेक्ट द डॉट्स वाली चीजें, तो मैंने सारी चीजों को, सारे डॉट्स को कनेक्ट किया और मैंने देखा कि मेरे जीवन के शुरुआती 7-8 साल फूड चेन के एक एंड पे थे, यानी किसानी, खेतीबाड़ी, गांव। IIT के बाद की कंसल्टिंग की नौकरी फूड चेन के दूसरे एंड पे थी, यानी कि सप्लाई चेन। मुझे लगा कुछ तो इशारा है, मैं कुछ ऐसा काम करना चाहता हूं जिसको बहुत बड़ा बनाया जा सकता है, जिसके कारण से शायद हजारों लाखों लोगों की जिंदगी में आप बदलाव ला सकते हो। क्यों? क्योंकि वही आपको अच्छी और सच्ची खुशी देता है। तो फिर 2010-2011 में लगा कि यार एग्रीकल्चर क्यों नहीं। अगर आप देखें तो भारत में 14 करोड़ किसान हैं जो शायद पूरे भारत, पूरे विश्व को खाना खिला रहे हैं और खुद भूखे हैं। दूसरी तरफ देखें तो आपके देश की 14% GDP एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर से आती है, लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी इतनी सारी इनएफिशिएंसीज हैं, फूड लॉस है, किसानों को लोन नहीं मिल रहा, उनके जो उपज है उसे अच्छी कीमत नहीं मिल पा रही और ऐसी हजार चीजें। तो वहां से एक सोच आई कि क्यों नहीं एग्रीकल्चर में एक ऐसा मॉडल बनाया जाए जिससे किसानों की जिंदगी में बदलाव आ सकता है। क्यों नहीं एग्रीकल्चर एक ऐसा मॉडल बनाया जाए जहां किसान और जो बिजनेसेस हैं दोनों सीधा आमने सामने बैठ के काम कर सकते हैं। और सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट कि कोई और दूसरा पैरेलल मॉडल नहीं है। तो आखिर अगर इतनी बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी है, इतना बड़ा मार्केट है, तो कोई और क्यों नहीं। और शायद लगा कि नहीं, ये ऐसी चीज है जिसके लिए आप पूरी लाइफ दे सकते हो। 2011 में सोचना शुरू किया, लोगों से मिलना शुरू किया, लोगों से बातें करनी शुरू की। मन में डर भी था कि मैं एक लोअर मिडिल क्लास फैमिली से आता हूं, मेरे घर परिवार में किसी ने कभी ऐसा कुछ बिजनेस किया ही नहीं, लेकिन अपने आप को तैयार किया। कैसे? यहां दिल्ली गुड़गांव में रहता था, हर सैटरडे संडे चांदनी चौक जाना, वहां के होलसेल मार्केट में देखना, लोगों को देखना, लोग कैसे ये चवन्नी अठन्नी व्यापार, बिजनेस, रिस्क, ये सारी चीजें कर रहे हैं। और तब जाकर के लगभग 8-9 महीनों के बाद हिम्मत जुटा पाया कि नहीं, मुझे ये करना है। क्यों? क्योंकि किसी और ने नहीं किया। इतनी बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी है, इतना बड़ा मार्केट है, लेकिन किसी और ने नहीं किया, इसलिए मुझे करना है। 2010 के एंड में जॉब रिजाइन किया, वापस बिहार गया। मेरे साथ मेरे कुछ और दोस्त थे जो दूसरे आईआईटी या आईआईएम से पढ़ाई किए हुए थे। उन लोगों को भी जब पता चला कि शशांक वापस जा रहा है, वो लोग भी थोड़े से उत्साहित हुए कि आखिर क्या करने जा रहा है। तो उनको भी मैंने बताना शुरू किया कि मैं इस तरह की चीजें करने जा रहा हूं। आप सोचो, 24 साल की उम्र में नौकरी छोड़ करके दिल्ली से वापस बिहार, लगा कि अब तो मैं दुनिया बदल दूंगा। बैग टांग करके किसानों से मिलने लगा कि आज तो मैं इतिहास रचने आया हूं। और वहां पहुंचने पे लगता है कि किसी को शायद इसकी जरूरत ही नहीं है। किसान जिनके लिए आप काम करने जा रहे हो, उनको लगा कि 24 साल का बच्चा है, क्या बताएगा, इसे खेती के बारे में नहीं मालूम, इसे एग्रीकल्चर के बारे में नहीं मालूम, ये शायद आया है कुछ तो ये एडवेंचर करना चाह रहा है, आएगा और चला जाएगा। घर वालों की अलग कहानी कि भाई जिस चीज के लिए हमने अपनी पूरी जिंदगी लगा दी, अपनी पूरी पूंजी लगाई, अपने सारी चीजों को दांव पे लगाया कि ये बिहार से बाहर जा सके, वो वापस बिहार आ जाता है, और उसमें भी एग्रीकल्चर, सेम खेती बाड़ी। तो लोगों की अलग अलग कहानियां कि भाई शायद इसकी नौकरी चली गई, शायद इसको नौकरी से निकाल दिया गया, इसे अच्छे पैसे नहीं मिल रहे थे, इसकी नौकरी कभी लगी ही नहीं थी, अलग अलग कहानियां, इसकी शादी कैसे हो गई, ये पागल हो गया, हजार चीजें। लेकिन लगता था कि नहीं, कुछ तो है, कुछ तो करना चाहिए, एक अपना विश्वास था। खैर, बिहार के वैशाली से काम शुरू हुआ। शुरू में कहने की बात ही नहीं, कितनी परेशानियां थी, बिकॉज जो किसान थे वो खुद ही मानने को तैयार नहीं थे कि ऐसा कुछ हो भी सकता है। और उनको लगता था कि नहीं, ये बच्चे हैं, मैं इनकी बात क्यों मानूं। किसी तरीके से 3 महीने, 4 महीने, 5 महीने की मशक्कत के बाद कुछ 14 किसानों ने हामी भरी कि चलो ठीक है। उनको भी लगा कि ये तो बिल्कुल ढीठ है, बिहार की भाषा में, ये मानने वाले नहीं है, ये तो जा ही नहीं रहे, रोज आ जाते हैं कि आप हमारे साथ काम करो, हम जिस तरीके से बता रहे हैं खेती उस तरीके से करो, आपको हम अच्छी बीज भी देंगे, तकनीक भी देंगे, बाजार भी देंगे। इट्स टू गुड टू बी ट्रू, ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता। लेकिन अंत में 14 किसानों ने कहा कि चलो भाई, आपके साथ हम करने के लिए तैयार हैं। और तब जाकर के ये पूरी देहात की जर्नी शुरू हुई कुछ 2011 में, जब महज 14 किसानों ने अपने कुल रकबे, कुल जमीन का केवल 1/3, 1/4 हमें दे दिया, और वो भी ये मान करके यहां कुछ होने वाला नहीं। पायलट हुआ, रिजल्ट बहुत अच्छा हुआ। जहां अन्य फसलों में जितनी वो कमाई करते थे, उससे 2 गुने से भी ज्यादा उनकी कमाई हुई। और तब जाकर के उनका विश्वास आया, फिर उनसे कुछ और किसान जुड़े, और फिर धीरे धीरे इस तरीके से कारवां बढ़ता गया। लेकिन कहानी ये थी, इस दौरान ना कोई मानने को था कि हम क्या करने जा रहे हैं, ना कोई बैंक हमें लोन देने को तैयार। 2012-2013 में ऐसी कोई स्टार्टअप की इकोसिस्टम भी नहीं थी जहां पर आप फंड रेज कर सकते थे, इन्वेस्टर्स होते थे। हम लोग किसानों को बाजार से जोड़ना चाहते थे। जब बायर्स के पास जाते थे तो बायर्स आपसे माल लेने के लिए मना करते थे। जब हम एग्री इनपुट कंपनीज के पास जाते थे कि आपसे हम अच्छी क्वालिटी के सीड्स लेंगे और फार्मर्स को देंगे, उन्हें लगता था कि यार तो स्केल ही नहीं, मैं आपके साथ काम क्यों करूं। तो हर जगह चैलेंजेस ही चैलेंजेस थे, लेकिन खुद का एक अपना विश्वास था। क्यों? क्योंकि जो मुट्ठी भर किसान जिनके साथ हम लोग काम करते थे, जब उनके तरफ से जब अच्छे फीडबैक आते थे कि नहीं साहब, आपके कारण से मेरी जिंदगी में बदलाव आ रहा है, आपके कारण से मेरी खेती अच्छी हो रही है, तो लगता था कि नहीं, शायद हम लोग सही रास्ते पे हैं। नंबर ये कम है, ये किसान अभी केवल महज 100 हैं, 200 हैं, 500 हैं, लेकिन लगता था कि नहीं, कुछ तो धीरे धीरे आगे बढ़ ही रहा है। तो लगे रहते हैं, बिकॉज जब दिन भर 200 किलोमीटर बाइक चलाने के बाद जब रात में वापस गांव आते थे, और तो जो किसान जब बोलता था ना कि साहब कल सुबह का नाश्ता मेरे यहां हो जाए, तो लगता था कि यार खुश है तभी शायद बोल रहा है। इसी दौरान गांव में हम लोग काम करते थे। उस टाइम कोई सेटअप नहीं था, होटल नहीं होते थे, कुछ भी नहीं होता था। तो गांव वालों ने कहा कि अरे बच्चे हैं, बाहर के हैं, कहां काम कर रहे हैं। उन लोगों ने स्कूल खुलवा दिए कि रात में तुम लोग स्कूल में रुक जाओ, और हम लोग चारों पांचों हम सब वहीं पे रात में बेंच लगा करके, और हमारी रात में हमारा ऑफिस वहीं खुल जाता था। वहीं दिन भर की थकान वहीं खत्म होती थी। रात भर लैपटॉप खोल के सारे बिजनेस मॉडल बनाना, प्रोजेक्शन बना। बोला साहब आप काम तो बहुत अच्छा कर रहे हो, आपसे हमें अच्छी टेक्नोलॉजी मिल रही है, अच्छा बाजार मिल रहा है, लेकिन आपसे संपर्क करना हो तो कहां करें। तो लगा कि शायद ये सब टाइम आ गया है कि हम एक फिजिकल सेंटर लगाएं, और तब जाकर के 2013 के एंड में हमारा पहला देहात सेंटर बना। हम लोगों ने कुछ दो देहात सेंटर खुद से चलाए और महज 11 महीने में उन 2 देहात सेंटर से कुछ 1200 किसान जुड़ गए। तो लगा कि यार अब तो चक्का घूम रहा है, पहिया घूम रहा है, अब इसको कैसे बनाया जाए कि ये और जुड़ सके। बिहार जैसे राज्य में, जहां पर जैसा मैंने कहा सभी का सपना ये होता है कि मैं राज्य से बाहर चले जाऊं, और जहां की 25 to 30% जो पॉपुलेशन है वो यूथ है, तो हम लोगों ने क्यों नहीं इस यूथ को ही इसमें जोड़ा जाए। जिस तरीके से ये 2 देहात सेंटर हमने चलाए, क्यों नहीं यूथ को जोड़ा जाए और उनसे कहा जाए कि आप आगे आओ और ये देहात सेंटर आप चलाओ फ्रेंचाइजी मॉडल पे। और उस हिसाब से अगले 2 सालों में ये फ्रेंचाइजी मॉडल बना, और तब जाकर के ये जो 2 देहात सेंटर थे वो किसी तरीके से 20-22 देहात सेंटर तक अगले 2-3 सालों में पहुंचे। इस दौरान ना हमारे पास कोई फंडिंग थी, ना हमारे पास कोई लोन था। आज के समय में इकोसिस्टम इतना इवॉल्व है कि स्टार्टअप पॉलिसी है, इंक्यूबेशन है, इतने सारे सीड फंड्स है, उस वक्त कुछ भी नहीं था। लेकिन फिर भी क्या था कि हमारे खर्चे कम थे। जो एकमात्र चीज थी वो ये था कि जो किसान हमसे जुड़े हुए थे वो खुश थे, और हर नेक्स्ट डे, हर नेक्स्ट मंथ, हर नेक्स्ट क्वार्टर, हर नेक्स्ट ईयर हमारे धीरे धीरे कुछ प्रोग्रेस था। 20% ही सही, 30% ही सही, 50% ही सही, बट प्रोग्रेस था। वही हमारे लिए सबसे बड़ा मोटिवेटर था। और कहीं ना कहीं जो एक विश्वास था कि अगर ये 500,000 किसान खुश हैं तो शायद कभी तो भारत के 14 करोड़ किसान को भी हम खुश कर पाएंगे। और इसी तरीके से कैसे कैसे वक्त बीता पता ही नहीं चला। आज लोग हमसे पूछते हैं कि अरे आपके बहुत चैलेंजेस हुए होंगे, बट ट्रस्ट मी कभी वो चैलेंजेस हम लोगों को चैलेंजेस लगे ही नहीं, बिकॉज वो हर दिन अपने आप में एक सक्सेस होता था। हर दिन एक नई कहानी होती थी, हर दिन एक नया गांव, नया जिला, नया किसान, नए चैलेंजेस, क्योंकि ये सेक्टर ऐसा है कि किसी ने पहले कुछ किया ही नहीं था। धीरे 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 आदत ऐसी हो गई कि सोचना ही छोड़ दिया कि कहां से पैसे आएंगे, कहां से फंड आएंगे। आज किसी तरीके से कभी लोन लेते थे, उसको लोन रीपे करते थे। मुझे याद है सबसे पहली बार 2015 में हम लोगों को बैंक से लोन मिला 20 लाख रुपए का। वो भी कैसे कि मेरे पास खुद की एक एफडी थी 7 लाख की, और उस बैंक में वो 7 लाख रुपए का एफडी लगाया, और उसे लगा कि आईआईटी के बच्चे हैं, काम कर रहे हैं, 20 लाख रुपए का लोन मांग रहे हैं। अगर पैसे लेके भागना ही होगा तो 20 लाख रुपए लेके तो नहीं भागेंगे। 5 आईआईटी के बच्चे काम कर रहे हैं, मतलब इनकी तो अगर नौकरी कर ले तो कितने पैसे आएंगे, तो 20 लाख रुपए लेके नहीं भागेंगे। इस उम्मीद पे उसने 20 लाख रुपए का पहला लोन दिया, और फिर उसके बाद उस 20 लाख के लोन से हम लोगों ने बिजनेस थोड़ा बढ़ाया। फिर धीरे धीरे फिर अगला लोन हमें 1 करोड़ का लोन मिला, और इस तरीके से गाड़ी धीरे 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 बढ़ने लगी। एंड आज जब मैं सोचता हूं तो पता ही नहीं चला कि 2011 से 2018 तक का सफर कैसे निकला। जो अच्छी चीज थी कि वो हर एक छोटी छोटी सक्सेस हमारे लिए इतनी बड़ी सक्सेस होती थी। हमारा पहला पटना का ऑफिस, जहां पे 2 BHK में आगे में ऑफिस और पीछे में रात के गद्दे बिछते थे। वो पहला इंप्लॉय जो खुद से आया कि साहब मुझे आपके साथ काम करना है, उस वक्त जब हमारे पास पैसे नहीं होते थे। जब 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 मैंने उसको बोला कि मैं तुम्हें बस 2,000 रुपए दे सकता हूं, और मैंने ये सोच के बोला कि वो भाग जाएगा, और उसमें भी वो कहता है कि साहब मैं जुड़ने के लिए तैयार हूं, तो लगता था कि कुछ तो है, क्योंकि लोग विश्वास कर रहे हैं। ठीक है, बहुत सारे लोग नेगेटिव बोल रहे हैं, बहुत सारे लोग डाउट कर रहे हैं कि ये लोग क्या कर रहा है, लेकिन उसी भीड़ में कुछ ऐसे लोग हैं जो शायद कह रहे हैं कि नहीं यार ये लोग लगा हुआ है, कुछ तो करेगा। और गांधी जी वाली बात याद आती थी कि भाई लोग पहले देखेंगे, फिर हंसेंगे, फिर ताना मारेंगे, फिर लड़ेंगे, अंततः तुम जीत ही जाओगे। क्योंकि विश्वास था कि नहीं, खुद पे विश्वास था कि लाइफ में जो कुछ भी किया है सब में सक्सेस हासिल किया है, और मूलतः इतना बड़ा मार्केट है, इतनी बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी है। 2019 में जाकर के हमें पहली फंडिंग मिली, और पहली फंडिंग भी ऐसी थी कि उस वक्त हम लोगों ने कुल मिलाकर के, क्योंकि उस वक्त हमें यह रियलाइज हुआ कि शायद अब हम लोग एज अ मॉडल, एज अ प्लेटफॉर्म तैयार हैं कि अब हम शायद बिहार के कुछ जिलों से बढ़ के इसे और दूसरे जिलों तक ले जा सकते हैं, शायद एक राज्य से दूसरे राज्य तक लेके जा सकते हैं। और तब जाकर के हम लोगों ने 2018 से 2017 से लोगों से मिलना शुरू किया। आप विश्वास नहीं करोगे, कुल 86 इन्वेस्टर्स को जाकर के हम लोगों ने पिच किए थे। और 86 भी मैं इसलिए बोल रहा हूं क्योंकि 86 के बाद मैंने गिनना बंद कर दिया था। लेकिन 2019 में जाकर के हमें पहली इंस्टीट्यूशनल फंडिंग मिली, जो कुछ $4 मिलियन की थी, यानी कि उस वक्त पे 32 करोड़ रुपए होते थे लगभग। तो तब तक हम लोगों ने लोन लिए, एंजल से पैसे लिए, जितने पैसे आते थे उस हिसाब से ग्रो करते थे, वहां तक पहुंचते थे, फिर कोई और लोन लेते थे, और उस हिसाब से गाड़ी चली। लेकिन मोर इंपॉर्टेंटली जब खुद को कॉन्फिडेंस आया कि अब मॉडल तैयार है, तब जाकर के मार्केट, और तब तक थोड़ा इकोसिस्टम भी इवॉल्व कर चुका था, और तब जाकर के अप्रैल 2019 में हमारी पहली इंस्टीट्यूशनल फंडिंग मिली, जो कुछ 32 करोड़ रुपए की थी। और जब उन पैसों को हम लोगों ने अपने बिजनेस में लगाया तो हमने देखा कि ये बिजनेस महज 9 महीने में 3 गुना बढ़ गया। और आत्मविश्वास आया कि शायद जो हमने इतने पिछले सालों में किया है वो बहुत ही कोई स्ट्रांग फाउंडेशन हमने सेटअप किया है, क्योंकि ये 32 करोड़ हमने इन्वेस्ट किए, कंपनी में लगाए, लोगों में इन्वेस्ट किया, टेक्नोलॉजी में इन्वेस्ट किया, नेटवर्क बनाने में इन्वेस्ट किया, और महज 9-10 महीने में 1 साल के अंदर 3 गुना ग्रोथ। वहां से और आत्मविश्वास आया और फिर हम लोगों ने और पैसे रेज करने शुरू किए और बिजनेस को और बढ़ाना शुरू किया। तो हमारी देहात की जर्नी अभी तक कुल 2 भागों में आती है, 2011 से लेकर के 2018। जब आप सोचो कि मार्च 2019 तक में हमारे पास केवल 40 देहात सेंटर होते थे, हमारे पास कुल मिलाकर के केवल 15-16 हजार किसान होते थे, हमारी टोटल टीम साइज केवल 26 लोगों की थी। मैं मार्च 2019 की बात बता रहा हूं। और आज के समय में लगभग 3-3.25 साल कह लो, या आप कुल 38 महीने 39 महीने, आज के समय में देहात देश के 11 राज्यों में 162 डिस्ट्रिक्ट में कुल 10,000 देहात सेंटर है। कुछ 13 लाख किसान हमारे साथ काम करते हैं। टोटल टीम साइज कुछ 2,000 लोगों की हो गई। पिछले 3 सालों में ही केवल, कहां हमें 8 साल हमारे पास फंडिंग ही नहीं थी, कहां हमें बैंक लोन नहीं देती थी, और अभी महज पिछले 3 साल में हम लोगों ने कुछ 161 मिलियन डॉलर रेज कर लिया, और उसके कारण से देहात को इस लेवल पे लेकर के आ गए। आज जब हम लोग सोचते हैं तो हमें ये लगता है कि हमारी कहानी वो एकदम जो एक हाइब्रिड बैम्बू वाली कहानी है, जहां पर आप उसको प्लांट करते हो और शुरू के 5 साल ना वो पौधा उगता ही नहीं। आप रोज पानी डालते हो, रोज खाद डालते हो, और पौधा उगता ही नहीं है। तो लगता है क्यों मेहनत कर रहे हो। शायद 2011 से 18 का पीरियड हमारा वही था। लेकिन उसके बाद क्या होता है, 5 साल के बाद पौधा जब ग्रो करना शुरू करता है तो आप हर अगले दिन पौधे को ना 3 से 5 इंच बढ़ता हुआ देख सकते हो। हमारी कहानी वही है। जब 2011 से 18 हम लोगों ने एक स्ट्रॉन्ग फाउंडेशन लगाया, क्योंकि इंडस्ट्री में, दुनिया में किसी ने भी फुल स्टैक मॉडल एग्री में बनाया नहीं था। किसी ने भी फार्मर्स के अराउंड इतना क्लोज लास्ट माइल का मॉडल किसी ने बनाया नहीं था। पहली बार किसी ने सोचा कि मैं किसानों को खेती संबंधित सारी चीजें एक छत के नीचे दूंगा। और शायद इसीलिए लोगों के लिए विश्वास करना बड़ा मुश्किल था। एग्रीकल्चर, बिहार, उसमें से भी फुल स्टैक, उसमें से भी 24-25 साल के लड़के। लेकिन शायद विश्वास था और एक डिसिप्लिन थी। धीरे 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 नंबर बढ़े, लोगों को विश्वास हुआ, और उसके बाद से इन्वेस्टमेंट्स, बायर्स, सप्लायर्स, बैंक्स, किसान सभी जुड़ते चले गए। आज जो हमारी कहानी है, जब जैसा मैंने बताया कि कुछ हम लोग 11 राज्यों में हैं और 162 जिलों में, लेकिन जिस तरीके से हमारा मानना है कि ऐसा नहीं है कि आज भी संघर्ष खत्म हो गया, बस शायद उसका चेहरा या रूप बदल गया है, राइट? क्योंकि अभी के संघर्ष एक अलग तरह के संघर्ष हैं, लेकिन जुनून आज भी वही है और हौसला, बुनियाद, इरादे आज भी वही है कि 13 लाख किसान ही क्यों, भारत में तो 14 करोड़ किसान हैं। 162 जिले ही क्यों, भारत में तो 350 से ज्यादा जिले हैं। 1 लाख गांव ही क्यों, भारत में 6,26,000 गांव हैं। तो अभी तो बहुत लड़ाई बाकी है, और चुनौतियां तो आएंगी ही, जैसे पहले भी आती थी, पहले चली गई, वैसे आज की भी जो चुनौती है आज भी चली जाएगी। अच्छी बात यह है कि आज आप केवल वो 5 लोग नहीं हो, आज आपके साथ आपके टीम में 2,000 लोग हैं, आज आपके साथ 10,000 फ्रेंचाइजी हैं, आज आपके पास पूरा असला बारूद सब तैयार है। ठीक है, संघर्ष अब दूसरे तरह का है, उसे भी देख लेंगे। तो लड़ाई बहुत लंबी है, देहात का सपना बहुत बड़ा है, और शायद उसी बड़े सपने के कारण से आज हम लोग एग्जिस्ट करते हैं। हमें पता भी नहीं है कि 3 साल बाद हमें कहां पहुंचना है, क्योंकि वहां पहुंचने के बाद शायद हम कुछ और बड़ा सोचने लगेंगे, और यही शायद एक एंटरप्रेन्योर की खास बात होती है। आज के समय में
So did you like it? Yes or no? Yes. What did you learn? What did you learn? Yeah, what did you learn? Nothing. Can you like find similarities between your life and that person's life? Yes. Can you say at least in agriculture graduation would have passed through that stage? What is that? In Rave, same thing was happening. Yes or no? As he was saying, so when you went to the village, what were they thinking? Students have come. What will they teach us about agriculture? Will the country really progress from the students? So this sort of like words you would have heard, correct? And also in life also it is the same thing, right? So like you would have started journey, but in that stage like literally like a ground zero, nothing would be there. You have to start from scratch, then you have to build. And he was as saying in the last part, that is about Chinese bamboo, we should be having that patience. So at times you have to give everything without expecting anything, right? So consider that this preparation stage is like that. So you are doing everything possible with lot many sacrifices, but on daily basis you won't see the success. So on daily basis you won't see that flying colors, you don't see that people clapping for you. But one day when you will be in that toppers list, then everybody will be thinking how this person achieve this. But the process is simple, but people won't appreciate that journey. They always want that instant success, but the journey of that 5 years or else like within that period, nobody is going to appreciate, right? I can give another example, just our classes itself, right? It is also starting in the same way, correct? So agriculture optional, like many agri graduates, they themselves will be saying that why to take agriculture optional, right? But the journey has started, right? So that is why, see, the progress which will happen. See, as I told you, the reason why I took this particular story, I had lot many, but why I took this particular story is that since this is the first day, so you should have that, economic orientation, plus at the same time you should be like grounding to your roots. So this person, though he had like the beautiful example which he had given. So one end was like the supply chain where he was in this production system. So another end was like this supply system, that is or no, the end part, that is the consumerism, the retail one. So that is the two ends, and he realized that what is the gap which is between these two ends, and he tried to fulfill that, and now he is making his life. Yes or no? In other words, what I want to like you guys to take out from this particular video is that, so self-awareness, right? So see, obviously if you like take this person from a village setup to have that confidence without any money, without any backing to do all those things, how much guts it should have been taken in, right? So that is to say the self-belief and also self-awareness. At the same time, observe the changes which is happening around you, right? And that will give you the new pathway through which you can progress for some other thing, right? So self-awareness is very, very important thing, and self-confidence. Clear? Yes? Right. Actually, we have other concept. So we'll do one thing. So this agroecology, and then this ecological agriculture, and this thing, agroecosystem. We'll deal that in the next class. So, and as I told in the beginning, so the next class will be on Tuesday, right? So next class will be on Tuesday. So tomorrow, as I said, like classes will be busy, so tomorrow class won't be there, and Monday on the occasion of festival we won't be having the class. So Tuesday we'll be meeting and we'll be proceeding with the classes, right? And today go back and write that answer, right? In the next class we'll discuss the answer, right? Okay, thank you all.